Hi guys. Okay, so we are going to do an eyeshadow look today that works really well like a go-to I am tan, and I just want to put something on my eyes that is really simple. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be using the eyeshadow brush. I'm obsessed with this brush. It works amazing with all of Seint's eyeshadows. It's really good. And one thing I do like to do is I like to use the vanilla dusting powder as a base. So I do have oily lids, and so this is a really great base because it's translucent. So it works for any kind of skin tone, and you can kind of come through, and I'm just using the fluffy side of the brush, or the bigger side of the brush. I tend to call it the fluffy side. And I go right up to the brow bone here and right on the lid. You cannot see it. It is translucent, which is really great. See that? And it just works amazing. It also makes sure that all the eyeshadow is just blended gorgeous, which is great. Okay, so I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna use Chai today, and I'm gonna dip into it here, and I'm just gonna go all over my lid, and I'm gonna use this like a transition color, and I'm gonna come through and just go ahead and blend it again all the way up to my brow, because this is a very light color. And so when I'm beaching it, or, you know, something simple, I like to have some go-to brown neutral colors inside of my palette. And that is exactly what we're doing today. Very simple, very neutral, goes with any outfit. Like, who doesn't love that, right? Okay, so I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna use Sedona, and I really like this color too because it is warm. I'm gonna use the little tiny side of the brush here, and we're gonna come through, and I'm sort of gonna like paint it on the outside edge here of my eyelid and pull it into the crease. And you see I'm going back and forth almost like a windshield wiper motion, right? And I'm gonna pull a little tiny bit underneath my eye, just like that. I'll switch over to the fluffy side, and I'm just gonna drag. So I'm dragging in, and I'm just fluffing out. And we are not going to worry about any of this. So leave all of that, we can fix that after. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side here. And I'm just gonna go right on that outside edge, drag and pull into the crease, whatever is left over. And before I sort of blend the whole thing out, I'm gonna come down here and go underneath my eye. And I do have a little bit of a hooded eye, so you're gonna see that I am sort of pulling this color up a little bit higher for that reason. Because once my mascara goes on, you're not gonna see that. So we're gonna come back through, and I'm gonna do one little tiny tap. I'm gonna open up my eye and just drag that up a little bit higher. So if you don't have a hooded eye, you don't have to do that. It is a very common thing for women, especially as we get older. All these little tiny things pop up. So this brush is like amazing for this eyeshadow. This is like a medium density eyeshadow, and this brush is perfect. It just blends it gorgeous, and it doesn't ruin it inside of the palette, because these are all magnetic too. So this way it just makes traveling a breeze. It makes your vanity like so clean and so easy. And so this way your eyeshadow brush is not digging in there and making it a mess. Now, if you want to go a little bit darker, feel free to go ahead and dip right back in and put another layer on, if you will. This makeup is all buildable, so it makes this transition so easy to make this look very bold or very simple. That's completely up to you. We're gonna come through, and I'm gonna pick this color right here. This is Holly. You're gonna see we're going in that same family. So I'm just dipping in with my little tiny side of the brush here, and I'm gonna go just on that outside edge. So not quite as far in as I did with Sedona, but we're gonna come just right there. Again, I'm gonna pull it into the same crease, pull it underneath, and all we're doing is just darkening that up just a little smidge, right? So we're gonna come in like this, right in that outside edge, pull it into the crease, And I always travel underneath with each color. But I don't go all the way in. I just do a little tiny bit on that outside corner. So I almost treat it like a liner, if you will, almost like an eyeliner, but I use the shadow so it's very, very soft. And we're keeping this look very simple. These are all matte colors so far. All right, so I am gonna put something on like the center of my eyelid. I do call this like the half moon area, and we're gonna come in and we're gonna use Foxy today. And Foxy is one of our shimmer colors that you can see. And if you use the brush, you're gonna get more of the color. And if you use your finger, you're gonna get more shimmer. So I'm gonna show you this right now. I'm just tapping it lightly with the little tiny side of the brush. And I'm just going over the entire lid. So it's very simple. It's very natural. We're gonna come over, we're gonna use our finger for this side. You see you're gonna pull definitely more of the shimmer when you use your finger. You see that? There's the difference between the two. So you can have more of the color or you can have more shimmer, so you can get whatever look you want. So the cool part is if you do this during the day and then you're like, hey, we're going out tonight, come back through. You don't have to touch up your makeup. This eyeshadow lasts. It is so good. So you just come back through and you can just touch it right up with your finger. Now, let's say you went a little bit too bold than what you want. Come through with that fluffy side and just blend it all together. Or if it's perfect, just tap the edges to blend it all together. Your eyeshadow cannot get any easier than that. Isn't it so great? And this way it just stays natural. It looks great. It's a perfect go-to color. You can then take another color and make it even more bold. You can dip back into Holly and make it more bold. You can also take the multitasker brush. You spray that with setting spray, dip into Holly, and you can really make eyeliner. So there are endless opportunities and endless different ways that you can make exactly the look that you want. So I hope this was very helpful for you. I love having some go-to colors inside of my palette. These are my go-to colors that I tend to sort of stick to, but I mix and match and play with them all the time. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'd love to know what your favorite go-to combination is too.